This is FIBA Podcast. Thank you for joining us in our morning daily devotion.
Greetings. We are currently in part 2 of a 3-part series on the secrets of spiritual warfare. In the previous episode, we looked at Ephesians chapter 6 and the first part of verse 12, our struggles against rulers and authorities. In this episode, we will look at the second part of verse 12, which talks about the powers of this dark world and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Paul himself, throughout his missionary journeys, has experienced a number of spiritual struggles that existed or manifested in physical social forms. If you remember Paul and Silas, the famous incident of why they were put in jail, where they sing and there was an earthquake, the whole purpose behind that was because Paul rebuked a slave girl who was possessed and was being manipulated by demons to present herself as a fortune teller. Paul rebuked that unclean spirit. As a result of that, many people's businesses were lost and Paul and Silas were thrown in jail. Rulers and authorities have often, when they could have given Paul consent or when they could have given Paul justice, they chose to turn a blind eye towards these things. In many cases, even expecting bribes. And when they didn't get what they want, they continued to prolong Paul's cases in many situations. That is how spiritual forces and entities work, even through rulers and authorities. And as a result of that, the people who are serving the Lord and who are in service of the gospel at many times suffer persecution and hindrances. Having experienced these things, after talking about what are some of the causes behind our struggles, openly telling them, Paul in verse 13 talks about, therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. Putting on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes. There's a big significance in using the word if versus using the word when. If indicates a possibility. When indicates guarantee. If the day of evil comes, it's almost like waiting to see if the climate will change, and as a result of that, we will be affected by it. And therefore, we have to prepare for it. At the same time, there's a possibility that it may not happen. But when indicates guarantee. There is most certainly going to be a time when Christians will face the day of evil. Whatever be the case, Paul is talking about make sure you put on the armor of God, the full armor of God, not even leaving a single one of it behind. A Christian is expected to put on the full armor of God so that when that day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. There are 6 elements in the armor of God that we will look at in the next part. But the fact that Paul is talking about putting on the full armor of God, he is making sure that we are not missing his emphasis that when he does start talking about the armor of God, we pay close attention to each of those elements and make sure we don't think less of any one of them, because all of them are important to face the day of evil and stand our ground. The second thing we see in this first part is learning to stand our ground. We are living in a world where we are now experiencing constant pulls and pushes through every wind and wave of doctrine or every wind and wave of influence. There are people who give their opinion, there are professors who give their opinion, there are authorities and rulers and celebrities who give their opinion and encourage people in a certain direction. These are all the ways spiritual winds blow. But Paul talks about Jesus having given us already all of his service workers in order to equip the church so that we will not be tossed around by every wind and wave of doctrine, but will reach the full maturity in Christ. And by doing that, we would be able to stand our ground. Knowing what our foundations are is critical. We are living in a time where every Christian needs to have an articulated reason as to why he or she follows Christ. More on this in the next episode.
Dear listener, we are here to stand with you in your time of need. We want to pray with you and for your prayer request. Do you need someone to talk to? We are here for you. Call us or send a message at +91 636 425 2164 +91 636 425 2164. God bless you.